Welcome back, DLDs. Today we are talking about the heart of the land, life inside a real American family farm. Enjoy this episode.
They have,
Cows.
and
Yeah.
this 120 acres is relatively poor land. And then one day I eat breakfast with some friends, usually every Monday morning. And one of the guys there was talking about one of the neighboring, he worked for a very large farmer, and he was talking about another neighboring farm that's even larger. That's the largest farm in the state of Iowa. And it's someone from this county, and he farms 36,000 acres.
Wow.
One family, one person, and has lots of hired help, and I mean, large equipment. And I gotta admit, just thinking about that, it's like, man, where does everybody fit, and what's right and what's wrong? Here you have one Amish family, with
12 kids or whatever, probably.
yeah, probably, and
Living off 100 acres.
Yeah.
Making
and
it
then
work.
someone farming 36,000 acres.
And that's where does that pride come in? What's
Yeah.
proper in the amount of
Yeah.
ground
And I believe in
individuals
free
should live.
enterprise,
Right.
and people
Sure.
should be able to choose.
Yeah,
But-
how hard you want to work or how.
Yeah,
How big do you need to be?
yeah.
Wow.
And that's kind of the thing here too in America is family farming. Is that just me and my husband were farming, or is that the whole Hinaw clan, that has 5 kids underneath of us and their kids are
Yeah.
working, then they still call that family farming, but is it?
Mhm.
Or is it a corporation?
Well,
Is it a business? I know, but
Yeah,
Mm.
it is, but I don't know. There's just big differences,
Mhm.
and part of it, it takes big equipment to farm
Yes.
big acres, but the
Yes.
cost is it just blows my mind.
Yeah, the cost of the equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, do you want to go see equipment eventually too? Like the
Yes.
combine and the big tractors and the things that we have?
Yes.
And like say, there again, ours is not outlandish. Ours
Well,
is very
To a lot of
fairly
people, it
simple.
looked like it's huge,
Yeah.
but
compared to
what's available now,
Yeah.
it just
So tell her how much we own and how much we farm and
we
what kind of acres we have.
we farm of, well, like we talk about row crop acres
Mhm.
of crops, 650 acres approximately.
So
And-
do you find help?
No, it's Jeff and I and our son do it. Yes.
650 acres.
Yeah, and that sounds like a lot, but like say compared to
Mhm. So
someone farming 36,000 acres,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
like,
but how
and
long
we
does
do
it
have
take you
some
to-
livestock.
Yeah.
We have hogs, which actually we didn't have hogs for about 9 months here, which
We
was
just got
unusual.
started again.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did.
Basically we raise pigs for someone else.
Mhm.
Wow.
So it's
Which
our
we've done it
building,
that way for a long
Valentine.
time.
We take care of them, but the hogs actually belong to somebody else. So all of the expenses and all the financial part is somebody else's. We're just doing the maintenance. Yeah. So he rents our building, is what we say, and our labor.
Mhm. Wow. And
Yeah.
how long are they here? For what period of time?
We'll have them about 4 or 5 months,
Mhm.
and our hog building holds 600 hogs, which there again, to a lot of people think, well, that sounds like a lot. Most new buildings that go up, the smallest being built are probably 2,400 head buildings, and usually they'll put up 2 or 3 of them.
Wow. So you classify yourself as middle
Yeah.
farmers. Wow. And you've got all this going on.
Yeah. It seems like a lot, but
Mhm.
I guess it's all relative,
Yeah.
and
Well, then we also do timber.
what's that?
Timber. You can tell about the timber part too.
Yeah, we grow trees on part of our land, and some land is set aside. It's called the conservation reserve. a lot of Julie's family, a lot of their land is conservation reserve, but some of it's row crop land that we rent from them. You know, we only own about, I'll say, maybe a quarter of what we farm, and then the rest is rented, and we pay money to rent the land.
Mm-hmm.
So how long, like, did you grow up with parents who were farmers? What made you start farming?
Good question.
Yeah, I'm a little unusual. Most farmers grew up on the farm. I did not grow up on a farm. My father was from a farming family.
From this area.
From this area. And my father was a classmate of Julie's father.
That's cool.
Yeah.
In little Sigourney High School at the time.
Yeah, so his father, though, did not want to farm.
He always loved the farm. But he went into the Air Force and was in electronics, was very successful businessman, ran a large electronics company.
Graduated from the University of Iowa with an engineering and electronics. Moved away from here, moved to Illinois, but always kept connection with the farm. He owned farm ground. They always came back a lot.
Yeah.
Hence how he fell in love with farming.
Yeah. Yeah, and I worked for my uncle when I got out of college. I went to University of Illinois, studied agriculture, and then I worked for my uncle for 9 years before we bought this place.
To actually on our own.
Yeah.
No, you have.
But most people in farming grew up on a farm, and inherited some land, and that's how they got started. Their father was like say again, like Julie's family. For generations they were farmers.
Yeah.
And,
So, what advice, let's say for someone who has their children and who is a farmer, and most of their children, they don't want to farm, what's your advice to them or to the children? What can we learn from your life that we want to impart to these children?
I guess the most important thing is that whatever you do in life, you should enjoy it. I always loved the farm. Like to other farmers, most can really understand why. But many children growing up on the farm, how should I say? Wouldn't care for that life.
You three girls.
Yeah, that's what we had that conversation. She's like, why didn't any of you stay on the farm?
Yeah.
Well,
That is a good question.
yeah.
Did you ever think about it, or did you like the farming part that much?
Yeah, I think I liked living in the country, but the farming part was never of interest.
The
work.
The work, it's
the actual.
Yeah.
Well, and I think as we have had some high school kids come in now and then. Back when we had a lot of hogs, we'd scoop manure and stuff. All of them have had that feeling too. Why do you do this every day? You've got to be crazy. Boy, this opens my eyes, they would say, and I'm going to go get an education for something.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
hard,
I mean,
physical
there were a
labor.
few
Yeah,
who enjoyed it.
but a lot of
doing
them
it,
would be
but
like, oh,
like say, I
my
remember
gosh.
we hired one classmate of my son's, and he worked here one day and was like, no way could he do that.
So what is your day like? Take us from what time do you wake up to when you sleep?
That has changed over the years.
Yeah.
Greatly.
But
well, it's changed as I've gotten older. I don't, at one time we had a lot more hogs.
Yes.
And we raised them all the way up. We
bred
bred the
here,
females, had them born here, and that was way, way more work for the same amount of hogs.
Yeah.
And also, we used to grind all our own feed. We'd grow the corn, we'd grind it right here and process, and that was a lot of work. Most hog operations nowadays, they buy their feed from the feed mill and it comes out in a truck, and so even though you're not hiring those people directly, well, yes, you are. If you're ordering feed from a feed mill, you're hiring labor and somebody else's investment, and so I don't like the term industrialized, but it's much more that way than it used to be. Like I see, we have pictures of, like, say, Julie's working out, grinding corn, and it was all.
That's
A
why the
lot
Amish
more
can only
labor
have 100
intensive.
acres. It's because it's all
Yes,
much
the
more hands-on
hands-on,
doing
yeah.
every part of it. Yeah.
So,
But-
so on a busy, like during the farming season, what do you do, like in the morning? Like, I'm so curious to know what time does a farmer wake up? Like, how do you plan the season? Like, it's farming season is coming.
Yeah.
When do you start planning?
Well, planning is, kind of goes on all the time. We know that the planting and the harvest times are, every step along the way is important, but those are the peak seasons, you'd say. Like, say, when it's time to plant the crop, we can work some very long hours. And we're 7 days a week.
Yeah.
12, 13 hours a day. Some people work even longer. We've never usually.
We used to. I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about that when we had a smaller planter, so it plants less rows at one time, where now we've gotten bigger. He would be out there late at night, I mean midnight, on keeping that planter going, because it took so many more laps around the field to get the crop planted. And then also in return, we'd talked about combining, same thing.
Yeah.
Smaller combine. I would go out, the kids would be little, and I would go out at night, sit in the combine with him to keep him awake, to keep him going, so with us getting a little bigger equipment, life has changed in that way, where we don't have to be going late. But I think
not as late, but
not
it's
as
still
late,
like
we
during
will.
the peak
And it
season.
depends on what the weather's doing.
Yeah.
But I think in general, like, say, if we talk starting our year, in fact, I'm working on it already, we're finishing up the year. So I'm doing the tax work, the end of the year payment, how much are we going to have to pay the government? We're doing all the end of the year stuff, but he's now ready to start the 2026 season as to what crop are you going to put on what field? What kind of seed are you going to put? What works best on this ground compared to another one? How much chemical do we need? How much fertilizer do we need? So he'll be starting that here in December as to what do we need to buy for the coming planting season. So, I mean, that's part of our process, our day-to-day thing as to what. Does he get a time break then in the winter? Yes and no. That's when then he goes to the timber and you start working on your trees, keeping them maintained. You do some field work if the weather's right, where he's sculpting and digging and trying to make the ground better. Cutting trees, we're always trees that don't grow where they're not supposed to. We're always working. So it's more like what season or what time of year it is as to what you're working on. And then the next thing you know, it's planting season. Well, then is the equipment already? Equipment and maintenance is huge. I mean, it's a never-ending maintaining the equipment. Keeping that going. So then that you'll start. Then we get into spring planting. So there's tillage, there's planting, there's.
So our viewers are international. When you say planting season, in Africa they are starting now.
Right.
Yes.
Here in America, when do you start?
We will do it in the spring, in April, May.
Yeah.
Sometimes into June.
Okay.
That's
But not usually. Usually April, May.
And here, yeah, you just have one growing season. In Africa, do you have two separate
three?
growing
Yeah,
seasons?
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe 1, 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on how close you are to the equator, I'm sure.
Mhm.
South Africa is probably similar in our just 6 months difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then crops will be ready to harvest then late September, October.
Mhm.
Some are even finishing up things here the 1st of November.
So you talked about equipment. Do you do it yourself? Do you have someone to, like, do you have a contractor? Like, how
Yeah.
does it work?
Well, I was thinking when you said you have a YouTube channel, the only thing Jeff knows about YouTube channels is he gets online and will
To
ask
look up.
YouTube of how to repair a John Deere 600.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's a YouTube video about everything.
There is, and that's
Yeah.
what Jeff knows about YouTube channels.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I have what I would say are decent mechanical skills. I try and fix as much of the equipment as I can. But the more complicated repairs, I do not do that myself. And it's become, it's really a tough issue for farms our size, maintaining the equipment without having to hire it done, because it's become so expensive to have anything repaired.
A lot more electronics in
Yeah.
the equipment.
Computer.
Yeah.
And just the time and I'd say I'd become frustrated a little with our John Deere dealer, because you get a bill and it just says labor. There's no itemization. Say we had a electrical problem with our combine this year, and I got the bill, $9,100 repair, $5,000 of labor, and it's just
Wow.
labor, $5,000. I
Wow.
don't know how much time was spent on it.
Or on what? Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's like, well, you like to think they're treating you fair, but
Considering they had it 2 weeks, I think probably 5,000 was probably okay though. I mean,
And is it running well again?
it worked just fine.
Okay.
Valentine, but sorry, is this too bright for you to record?
It's okay, but if you want to close,
Does that
yeah.
help a little?
Oh
bit?
yeah, it
Probably
helps.
That's what I wondered.
See, like I can't see her that well.
Oh, because of ours.
But just
Oh,
the
okay.
sun that way.
No, this is really interesting. Let's talk about support with your partner.
Talk about what?
Support with your partner. I see you have your wife next to you, and you complement each other. Like, she knows what you do, you know what she does. For a young farmer, let's say someone who is not yet married, who wants to get into farming, what do you advise? Because I'm seeing something here. There are things that are unsaid that I'm just watching. You are mature. You have wisdom.
She called you old.
For a young farmer, we want this person to be successful. I mean, here there's no entertainment. There is nothing happening unless if you go to the city or you know of an occasion. How important is it to choose a good partner?
Well, that is probably the most important thing in anyone's life. Choosing a good partner, and that's not easy.
Yeah, it's never easy, but good is very
if you wanted to get started in farming, the best thing I could say is marry a girl who inherited a farm.
Right. See, I came from the city with no farming background.
Is it?
And I met this guy who lived in the city too.
Not the city. It was a small town.
Right, but still.
Yeah.
But I was okay with coming out here. I mean, he had brought me out here and I knew,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what it was going to kind of be like and stuff and loved it. But
Mhm.
I did have background in medical. I mean, I worked as a paramedic and other things. So I have had in-town jobs, but I'm rare of a farm wife to be full-time farming.
Yeah,
To
she
run
helps
equipment
more on the farm than most.
women
Mm-hmm.
do.
Oh.
Even in today's times, most farm wives do not operate on the farm like I do. Most of them have in-town jobs, full-time. Part of that is they need the money, they need the insurance,
Health insurance.
they need the
yeah.
health insurance
Yeah.
from their job and things.
Mhm.
So once Julie's dad especially wasn't farming as much, then I left the town job and came out and worked full-time.
Mhm.
So we joke, could I take it over if anything happened to him? No, yes, you know, kind of like.
She does very well, and
But-
I'm amazed at how good a mechanic she's become from helping
Yeah.
tear things apart,
Well,
clean
Yeah.
things up.
I've seen things lately. The other day it said something about, it had a part off of our combine and it said something about like, oh, you know you work too much on the farm. If you know what this part is, you know what to ask for at the John Deere dealership, and you know how to put the combine back together. And it's like, yeah, it's like, but no.
Or it was written on the machine, or where was it written?
Or like a post, like a social
Yeah,
media.
it was on my Facebook post
Oh,
that I
yeah.
had recently from the
Yeah,
past.
somebody's YouTube channel.
No, it was on my Facebook post that I had put in the past that
That's
came up
funny.
in memories.
Yes.
Ah, that's beautiful.
But no, we work good together.
Yes, we do.
Mhm. So, how many kids do you have?
We have 3. Our daughter is the oldest, and she's a civil engineer. She works for the city of Fairfield, which is about 45 minutes from here.
But then she also does.
Yeah,
Yes.
she lives on a small
All farm.
family
Yeah.
farm, and
They
yeah,
have their, what do we call it, a
menagerie.
Yeah.
They have chickens, goats, guineas,
Turkey.
cattle, turkeys,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. They have
a
it
little
all.
bit of everything,
Lots of cats. Yeah.
and a big garden.
Valentine needs to go see their place. Yeah.
I have to.
All right.
And
then
then
we have,
where are the other 2?
and then we have a son who lives up in Sergeant Bluff. It's near Sioux City, and he is also an engineer. So his is building.
Construction.
Yeah, construction building. They have 2 children, and then we have a son. But what is Aaron's job? He's a professor. He's a professor at William
Teaches
Penn.
at a college.
Yes.
But is he coaching there too?
No, he does all the coaching for the kids.
Yeah, he has own kids. Yeah.
Yeah, he no longer helps with
Okay.
football coaching.
Okay. And how does he manage to find the time to help on the farm? How does that work?
That's become tougher, you know.
Yeah, the older they get, the more.
He likes helping very much, but like I say, he's very busy with his 4 children and his job and
Yeah.
And his other job, and yeah.
his tree. He has a tree service where he trims trees and cleans up
Mhm.
people's property, and that's made it much harder for him to come work here because he can make really good money.
Yeah.
In his tree
The
service.
tree service, yeah.
Yeah, big.
Was Wes ever interested in
They-
doing the farming thing?
Yeah, Wes was too. You know, there was a time, like right when he was graduating, he was like, you know, hey, can I come work on the farm? And at that time, I told him no. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you've got a good degree,
Mm-hmm.
go work in that. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, we're very happy that all the kids have their own. What's the word I want to say?
Yeah, like
Profession,
career,
their
yeah.
career that they
Mhm.
have. But they all still like the Strobing girls all still have a very strong interest in the farm. They
Mhm.
want to keep that connection. They want us to keep it within the families and
Yeah.
things. They don't want, they will not be the kids that will just sell it immediately. They
Mhm.
want to keep involved. Aaron likes the physical part more, but he can get here to us. He can help
Yeah,
more
he's
often. He's closer.
Yeah.
But they enjoyed their time growing up, but I don't know if any of them yet would make it their life either,
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron maybe, but
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that in another generation or
Yeah.
two for sure. How many more of those?
Well, it's from the time that I started and the way it used to be, it's much harder to be a full-time farmer.
Yeah.
Right now it's just, the economics of it are really tough because the value of all the assets has inflated so much that
Yeah.
it's rather, it would be very hard to get started in farming
Well,
without
yeah.
a big
And you asked
start.
about that with, about the kids, the young ones. Unless you do come from a farming family, unless you're inheriting it, unless you're part of a family operation of some sort, to be just a kid here in America and say that I want to farm,
Mm-mm.
the cost of starting farming is too
Yeah,
big.
prohibitive.
Well,
yeah.
let's say to farm our 650 acres, a lot of my equipment is older, but it still has a lot of value. I The value of my equipment is probably like $500,000. So I look at what we're making in farming right now. It's like I don't really make a good return on the value of my equipment,
Mhm.
let alone everything else that's involved in it.
Yeah.
And like I say,
Unfortunately,
farming, grain farming, farming in general, it's very difficult right now. But farming has been extremely good to us.
Right.
We
would do
were
nothing
fortunate
else.
to have bought some land.
At a good time from a good family.
Yeah, and it has appreciated greatly in value. But yeah, it's kind of a two-edged sword. We're glad everything's worth more.
Yes.
But what do you do now? And
Yeah.
how do you transition it to
The next generation.
the next generation? That's really a tough question.
Thank you so much. Well, we can take a walk around your farm and we can see what you have for us, for our viewers.
Yep.
And also, I wanted to highlight, so when you say a hog, that name, what is that? What's a hog? Because I don't know.
What's a hog?
It is a pig.
It's a pig. Oh, it's another name for a pig.
Yeah.
It's the American style for a pig.
Yeah. Swine, you could, is another term.
Yep.
Swine, pigs, hogs, pork is what
Yes.
the meat is.
All right. Thank you so much. At least I'll ask more questions as we walk around and see.
Yep.
Thank you so much.